I'm Sally Doty. I'm the director of BEAM, and today we will be demonstrating the challenge process for eligible challengers. And I will remind you that eligible challengers are units of local government or tribal governments, nonprofits, and also internet service providers. I am now going to turn this over to Jonathan and Clay with our office to walk you through these steps. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. So we're going to be covering two things today. We're going to be showing how an eligible challenging entity submits a challenge. We're also going to be demonstrating how, if you've opted into resident corrections, that you can submit their evidence. To start, when the challenge process opens, you'll see in the top right corner this purple indicator that is telling you that we are in the challenge submission phase. Details about the different phases can be found in Mississippi's Initial Proposal Volume 1, or IPV1 for short. It can also be found in the Challenge Guide. We'll be referencing those documents a lot throughout this process, and we'll also be providing links following this webinar to where those documents can be found on both the BEAM and Broadband MS websites. So to start, this is your dashboard. This is really your main point to see where you are in the challenge process and also where your challenges are. So you'll notice here, we are in a staging environment, the dev environment. So this is test data here. And so we've already gone ahead and submitted a challenge and then withdrawn it prior to the close of the challenge window. So you'll see more results show up here as we go throughout this process. To start, you can either submit a challenge from the map or you can submit one from the dashboard. Both options are going to take you to the map. So I'm going to select Add a Challenge, and it will pull up the BEAD challenge map, which will be released prior to the start of the challenge process to give you some time to review before this window opens. So you'll notice first, you select your challenge category. So today we'll demonstrate a planned or existing service challenge. So you just select the challenge category, and then further you'll select the challenge type. So we're going to go with an existing service type challenge. So next, we will enter in some information. So you'll start by selecting the technology. So for this challenge, let's say that we have existing fiber, and for whatever reason, it is not reflected on the map. So I'm going to want to come in and claim the service area. So I'll select fiber to the prim. And then we'll want to put in some different numbers. So you'll notice this is going to keep you at 100 or above for the download speed. So let's go ahead and go with 100. And then in our next spot, we're going to want to go with 20 or above for the upload. So if you are not providing service at these speeds, you would not want to submit a challenge. So further, you're confirming that the network has under 100 milliseconds latency, and then you'll select the type of customer or customers that you serve. So residential, business, or business and residential service. So next, you'll see some different rules. This will be updated in the portal when the challenge process opens to the type and number of challenges that are allowed in a bulk challenge type. Other challenges have to be done individually. So for this example, bulk challenges are allowed. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the functionality of how to get the locations onto the map. There are 4 different ways. If you have defined a zone, which can be done over there, hit the over arrow. So if you have previously defined a zone for your service area, you can go ahead and select that zone. And it'll take just a moment, but you can see in Newton, we selected a service area, so it's going to load in all of those locations. Additionally, if you have your location IDs, you can upload a list of locations. And notice the format is a CSV with location IDs. The first row ignored, that's your column header, which should say location ID. And if you have additional data in there, that's okay. Those other columns will be ignored. So the first column First row, location ID is all the way down. So we'll go in and we will add locations, open, and you'll see those locations populate there. There are two other ways that we'll demonstrate quickly. So you can select individual locations and add them one by one. Or you can shift drag across the map and add more than one location at a time. And there we go. So now we have our locations, we've reviewed them, we're ready to start uploading the evidence. So here, this information for the different challenge types will be in the IPv1 referenced earlier, as well as the challenge guide. For each of the challenge types, as you're preparing for this process, we strongly encourage you to read that material. It's going to be the most accurate guide. So we have the evidence box required, and we also have a box for additional supporting evidence that we do strongly encourage you to upload to help strengthen your challenge. So we will click and upload evidence. And we've done a good job with this challenge, and so we actually went ahead and gathered additional evidence. Right, so after you have the appropriate files for the locations what you want to challenge, you'll go through, and it finally brings you to the attestation. This attestation is certifying that you and your organization, to the best of your knowledge, are submitting accurate and complete information. So once you are confirmed, you will select Submit Challenge, and you can submit. At the top here, you'll see that the challenge is created. It will bring you back to the dashboard, which is where you can see the status of your different challenges.
Now, Clay, if I realize I've made a mistake in my challenge, can I go in and edit it?
Unfortunately not. We need to keep the record intact for the different challenge types. And so the way to do that is if you made a mistake on your submission, and it's during the challenge window, you can actually go in and withdraw that challenge and then submit the new one with the corrected and updated evidence. So if you hit refresh real quick, you'll notice that both have moved to the withdrawn status. The second part of our demo today, we want to demonstrate if you have opted in to accept evidence from individuals. As a reminder, individuals are not allowed to submit challenges. They are not eligible challenging entity. So individuals through the challenge website, which will also be linked after this webinar, are able to submit evidence for their address if they would like to challenge the location. So that evidence will come to you if you've opted in to submit on their behalf. So it should be noted that when you sign up, when you register for the portal, you're able to select different areas. So evidence that is submitted within your area, so if you've selected one county or multiple counties, all of the evidence within those counties will show up. If you select the entire state, you will see all of the individual evidence throughout the entire state. To submit one of these challenge types, you will go in and select View Details, and it's going to bring you back to the map so you can see on the map where this address is. And so one thing you might notice is there may be two dots on the same structure. The one dot is to indicate where the challenge is. The second dot is to allow you to click into the location details. That is, in fact, the same location. And so we want to go ahead and check and a couple of things. One is make sure that the address lines up. So it does. The second is we want to make sure that the technology and provider is in fact available at that website. So we'll scroll down. So just a couple of things to check, do a quick glance. But of course, as the eligible entity, you are responsible for this challenge. So you want to download the evidence that was submitted as part of this challenge and open up those files to review. You have the ability to add a comment for your own internal records purposes. And then also if you need additional information, the individual has consented to this information being used on their behalf, and also for you to reach back out to them in case additional evidence is needed. Their contact information can be found here and be submitted by section. Once you've reviewed and you're confident in what is being submitted, you simply hit create the challenge and submit. And again, at the top, you'll notice the status changes. And if we could go back to the dashboard, you'll see that challenges have been submitted. One was done previously and one was done during the demonstration. One other thing to note, if multiple entities are in the same area and they're seeing those challenges, all of the entities, regardless of which one submits, will see the status change to challenged. That doesn't mean that another entity can't submit a challenge, but it does mean that they will need to go through the regular challenge process and gather their own evidence to submit. These individual evidences can only be submitted once per evidence submission. And I believe that covers us for today.
All right. Thank you, Clay.
Thanks so much.